Hey friends, welcome back to Raising Boys with Purpose. One of the things I love about podcasting is that some lessons are timeless. This episode is one of them. If you're a newer listener, I'm so glad you get to hear it. Are teen boys really disrespectful? Or are we misunderstanding what's really going on? We hear it all the time. Teenagers are rude. They talk back. They don't listen. But is that the full story? Because sometimes what looks like disrespect is actually stress, growing independence, or a teen trying to find his voice. In this episode of Raising Boys with Purpose, we're breaking down what real disrespect actually is, what might be normal teen development, and how to respond as a mom without damaging your relationship. If you're raising a teen son and wondering, is this behavior normal, or do I need to step in? This episode will help you see the difference and respond with clarity and confidence. Welcome to Raising Boys with Purpose, a Christian parenting podcast for moms raising teens and young adult sons. I'm Brooke, a boy mom and parenting coach, and here we talk about raising sons, building character, and preparing our boys for adulthood with confidence and faith. Now, before we jump in, if you're looking for a community of moms who are raising boys into young men, I'd love to invite you to join us in the Raising Boys with Purpose Facebook group. It's a space for encouragement, real conversations, and support, because you're not meant to figure this out alone. So, has your teen ever smarted off when you asked a simple question and you were left thinking, what just happened? Maybe he snapped in anger, he was rude when asked to do something, or you're talking and he just rolls his eyes. We get to watch our sons grow and mature, which is such a gift. But some days it feels like work. And on those days, how do we know, is this something I need to correct, or is this something I need to write out? When our boys were younger, we all heard the stories about the teen years. How hard they are, how teens are disrespectful, and how they challenge authority. And if we're honest, there was probably a part of us that felt a little nervous about what was coming. But as our sons got older, we started to see something different. Yes, there are extreme cases, but most teens are just trying to figure it out. They're navigating changing expectations, growing responsibilities, and new emotions. They're looking ahead to the future while still holding on to parts of the past. And if we're honest, so are we. So when you think of a teen being disrespectful, what comes to mind? What does that actually mean in your house? Because the truth is, disrespect can look different from house to house. In some homes, sarcasm is seen as disrespect. In mine, sarcasm is part of our humor. The general definition of disrespect is showing a lack of respect or courtesy. Basically, being impolite. And we all know the biblical call in Matthew 15:4 to honor our father and mother. Respect matters. It's how society functions. Respecting people's space, opinions, property, and each other. But today, I want to look at a few areas that are often labeled as disrespect, when they might actually be signs of growth. There's a common belief that teens should simply do what they're told, and if they push back or speak up, it's automatically disrespect. But I don't think it's always that simple. Let's consider disagreement. To me, disagreement is not the same as disrespect. I'm a big advocate for listening to our sons, even when they don't agree with us. But there is a fine line between disagreeing and arguing. In our home, our expectation is this. You can disagree, but you need to use self-control. No raised voices, no disrespectful tones, and no disrespectful words. And sometimes it comes down to learning to agree to disagree, because we're not getting stuck in a never-ending debate. But here's the key. This doesn't happen automatically. We have to teach it. We have to communicate expectations clearly. Sometimes that's in how we ask questions, but often it means setting clear verbal boundaries. Our sons won't know how to disagree respectfully if we don't show them. And they also need to understand that expectations may look different at home than they do at school or in other environments. Now, secondly, is our teens need to explain the circumstances. This is another area that often gets labeled as talking back. Now, this still is not permission to argue, But in our home, when our boys got in trouble, we would ask them to explain what happened. Not to avoid consequences, but to understand. I remember being a teenager and feeling like if I could just explain, maybe this would make more sense. And that feeling stuck with me. So we make it a priority to give our boys that opportunity. Are we perfect with this? No. Sometimes we're tired. Sometimes we just don't feel like hearing it. But when we pause and listen, it helps them feel heard, even if the outcome doesn't change. The truth is, yes, there are real moments of disrespect. But often what we're seeing isn't defiance. It's stress, growing opinions, increasing independence, and a desire to be seen and heard. Being a teenager isn't an excuse for poor behavior, but it is a season of learning. Our role isn't just to correct, it's to guide, to help them learn how to handle these emotions in the right way. But here's the reality. Being a parent of a teen isn't always easy, but being a teen isn't easy either. So mama, if you're in the middle of those teen years right now, take a breath and start with this. Communicate your expectations clearly. As your sons grow, the boundaries that worked when he was younger are going to shift, and that means the conversation needs to shift too. Don't wait for things to break down before you talk about it. Be proactive. Talk about how things will change and how you're going to grow alongside him. Because your son loves you. He wants to do well. But he needs your guidance to know what that looks like. He's becoming a man, and you have the incredible opportunity of helping shape who he becomes. If this episode of Raising Boys with Purpose encouraged you, please like this video and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of this podcast. And if you're raising a teen or young adult son and want encouragement and practical guidance, come join us in the Raising Boys with Purpose Facebook community. The link is below. Thanks for being here today. Now grab your iced coffee, hug your son, and remember, you're raising him with purpose.